Boom boom. Boom boom. Boom boom. Boom boom.
Crazy.
Aye,
Okay,
Boom,
can we
boom.
not start with
Boom,
the song
boom.
this time?
Boom
aye.
It's getting started where we're
boom.
done.
Boom boom.
No, no.
Boom boom.
Boom.
Utterly nonsense cue
True story,
intro.
Crazy Train was actually the first song I learned to play on electric guitar.
Were you talking over that the whole time?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was like a
like a rude
Be-
little asshole.
being a dick about
Now
it.
I gotta do it again.
Real a dick.
And with that, cue 8-bit intro. So, do you want to start with the Kevin Smith stuff, or?
100% because I love Kevin Smith.
Yeah, so do I. I've gone over this before. As a New Jerseyan, it is my duty as a New Jersey citizen to love.
As a New Jersey person from New Jersey, it is your duty to say that you are from New Jersey and that everything from New Jersey is from New Jersey.
Absolutely.
New Jersey,
I just
New
have
Jersey.
I have to be annoying about it, or else I'm
New
not.
Jersey and Delco.
I'm not a
People
single
from
other
Delco never shut up about being from Delco.
You know.
Who cares if you're from Delco? It's not
I
that.
hear people
I'm
say
not
they're
that-
from Philly all the time. I've never actually heard anyone say I'm from Delco,
Oh, you didn't meet the crew yet. They're like a squad. It's like
So it's the people who are just outside Philly, right?
yeah. It's this Delaware
Well, I know where
Delaware
Delaware County is,
is
but that's
to
what I'm
the
saying.
to the right of Philly.
Okay, so I thought Philly was like part of Delco for some reason, but whatever.
Yeah, I think it's like to the right, south right or
I've
something.
not met a single other person who boasts about being from New Jersey. They usually want to hide it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too vocal about it. I think on this podcast is the only time I actually ever reference my New Jerseyanship.
Skip back, Pennsylvania. Woo! Population of 10,000. My dad's part mayor. What's up?
And people wonder why I go to PA for school. So yeah, the reason we bring up the whole Kevin Smith thing, as
He almost died.
What's up?
He almost died.
Yeah, he had a massive heart attack. As of the day we're recording this, he just apparently. I don't know the full circumstance. Reading it, I basically skimmed his Instagram post.
I read it. He was doing some performance. I don't know if it was stand-up or something, and he did the first show.
Yeah, it was either
and he
that
got
or a
really sick.
podcast recording for Fat Man on
Yeah,
Demand.
and he was going to do the second show, but he canceled it because he started sweating a lot, and so they called the hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you had a massive heart attack, and you would have died."
Yeah,
Good
apparently
thing
if
they brought
he
you
had
here.
done his
Jeez.
full set, he would be dead right now. So, one of those circumstances of someone actually being smart enough to know when to pause their art.
I mean, I feel like if I'm in the middle of having a massive heart attack,
Well, he didn't
regardless
know
of what I'm doing,
Well, he
I'm
didn't know he
like,
was having a massive heart attack. And
Yeah,
the
I
thing
mean-
is, I've had family members who have had heart attacks. They never know it's a heart attack. They just know it's something's off.
painful. Their left
Well,
arm
that's the
is
thing.
like.
Whenever you're having a real heart attack, or whenever it's coming on, you don't know what a heart attack feels like until that moment.
Mhm.
That's why you should read up on it and prepare yourself for the
Yeah.
future.
I mean, there's a history of heart attacks in my family, so that's a very real possibility for me someday.
Stay away from too much red meat.
So yeah, Kevin Smith. From what I've heard, he's doing okay. He's in the hospital, but it just goes to show how close things like this can be.
Mm,
So
how real it is.
Yeah. So of course we wish him the best.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
Thoughts and prayers.
As a fellow podcaster,
Thoughts and thoughts. Okay, so the other big piece of news I really wanted to cover, and I saw this not too long ago. Did you hear this thing about Mark Hamill?
Inform me.
inform us.
Okay, so basically, someone suggested on Twitter, someone added both James Gunn and Mark Hamill, basically saying, Mark Hamill would totally be perfect for Guardians. Why isn't he in Guardians? And both James Gunn and Mark Hamill responded, and basically the gist of it is Mark Hamill wants a role in Guardians 3. James Gunn's all for it, so don't know what that role would be yet, but
I approve.
Would you see him as a villain or a protagonist?
I mean, he could really play anyone.
He could. Very versatile.
Extremely versatile. I mean, he's played the villain so many times. He's played the hero so many times. He's just played so many iconic characters. I could totally see him doing anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Maybe
So
he'll come back as that joke character. I don't remember which movie it was, but that character Cock Knocker, and then they're like, "Why do they call you Cock?"
Oh, that was
Knocker?"
Jay
He
and
takes
Silent
his
Bob
giant
Strikes
fist.
Back. That was
Yeah, that's what I thought.
that was the one Kevin Smith film he appeared in. Actually,
There you go, tying it all in.
We
So,
we
yeah,
all
just come back
connected.
to
This
that
is
guy.
completely planned. We intertwined it. Yep.
I mean, I don't know if John figured that out, but yeah, that was a Kevin Smith comedy he appeared in.
Yeah.
Ha.
No, I thought it was. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's all the news I had. I'm already out of ideas.
No, but all right. Let's go back to
Hopefully,
the
I would
Guardians thing. Like, I mean, I really haven't read Guardians a whole lot, but what character do you think he would like resemble the most? Like, either like appearance wise or even like character wise.
Well, that's tough to say. I was hearing someone speculate that he might just have a voice role, that the character might be entirely
Like an alien
CGI or something.
Yeah, like an alien kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, I haven't read Guardians that much.
I mean, he's a great voice actor too.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he's really well known for giving one of the best portrayals of the Joker. You know?
Yeah.
He was the Joker for the animated series, for the Arkham games. So, I mean, it just goes to show the range he has.
Mhm.
Also played Fire-Lord Ozai in Avatar The Last Airbender, which people don't
Yes.
I had no idea.
You know who he's also done?
know. Now you can't unhear it, because it's totally him.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
Back of my mind.
What were you saying?
He also, in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, he was Hobgoblin.
Oh, yeah.
Was he really?
I think I knew that.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
hear him
like
laugh a few
he's
times,
like
and it's
literally
like,
my
"Is that
entire
Joker?"
childhood and I just didn't even know
He
it.
really is. And he's Luke Skywalker, too. Of course.
He was Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, right.
What?
But,
This is groundbreaking news.
Yeah,
Earth shattering.
so, yeah, the thing about Guardians is, I mean, James Gunn really reinvented the comic book. Like, from what I've heard, the team as it exists in the James Gunn movies, in Guardians 1 and Guardians 2, was not existent in the comics prior to James Gunn getting his hands on them. They were all
It was, but they were new.
They were all, like, individual characters, but in that iteration, they were non-existent prior to James Gunn.
Because there's two Guardians teams. There's the one from like the future where it's completely different characters, and there was this guy who used Captain America's shield. Stallone actually plays one of those characters, I'm pretty sure. So
Actually, yeah,
they're just kind of retconning it.
one scene prior to the post-credit scene where all the where all of Yondu's former friends, people come together. It's the first post-credit scene, actually. So that was supposed to be the original Guardians team, like in the comics. Those were the characters that were, so
Yeah.
that was sort of James Gunn paying homage to earlier Guardians work. So just to answer your question with a long and rambling answer, yeah, I mean, I have no idea who he's going to play. Right now, the only character that I'm absolutely certain is going to appear in Guardians 3 that hasn't appeared before is Adam Warlock, which I don't think Hamill would have much of a chance of playing, so,
Who?
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock?
Yeah, Adam Warlock.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, they already hinted that it's
Maybe.
coming at the end of Guardians 2. There was a post-credit scene where
Yeah, they did.
Oh, where he hit the windshield?
oh no, different one. Where Adam Warlock.
No, it was the gold woman mentioned him. She's like, I need to bring out the Warlock or something like that,
Yeah,
she said.
I think I will call you Adam. It's like
Yeah.
the
that was it.
from Guardians 2.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about? Like the one main evil chick
Mhm.
just sort of got pissed off and tried to create this thing to go kill the Guardians in the next movie. So, I mean, I'm guessing Guardians 3 is going to have something along those lines. It's
Yeah.
going to be Adam Warlock's opening into the MCU. Which, Kevin Feige already hinted that the MCU going forward is going to have this whole cosmic vibe to it, that it's not going to be, like, based on Earth anymore, just based around, like, earthly stories,
Mm-hmm.
So, that might be one good way of bringing in more
Transitioning.
cosmic characters.
Yeah.
Adam Warlock, historically, very cosmic entity, very,
Otherworldly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to see all those space dudes now. Nova, Quasar, Silver
Actually, I mean,
Surfer.
I was just about to say, now that the whole Fox Disney deal is going through, Silver Surfer could easily make an appearance. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. I'd say by
The coming of
mid-2020s,
Galactus
I wouldn't
is
be
upon
surprised
us.
if that happened.
Yeah, there really hasn't been any like Fantastic Four since. Well, they did a new one, but that
Yeah,
was
Fantastic.
another flop. So
Fan Four Stick. So, first of all, God, what can you say about Fan Four Stick that hasn't already been said? Just
It had Michael B. Jordan in it.
yeah, just
Because now Marvel gave him a second chance.
yeah. Same thing they did with Chris Evans. They're just giving Human Torch actors second chances.
Mhm.
So
Yeah?
yeah, but just Fan Four Stick was such a misstep. Like they had this potential to do this really cool origin story with indie roots, and they just blew it. Yeah, it's weird that they were able to lose money with a superhero movie. Like, I don't think that's actually happened within the last decade.
It's another one of those questions of studio intervention. From what I hear, the director wasn't doing such a good job, but then the studio intervention didn't really make it better.
From what I heard, the director had a clear vision, and what was seen on screen was nothing like what he had intended. Like, he apparently was an indie director, and I can't even think of the guy's name. He's just
Josh Trank.
What is his name?
Josh Trank.
Josh Trank. What else has he done, or do you not know?
Chronicle. That's it.
What is it?
Just Chronicle.
Chronicle. Never heard of it.
Yeah. It was like a indie movie where these kids, they have powers, and then one of them goes evil.
Okay, that sounds familiar, but
yeah, something like that.
Yes,
and then
from what I
that was all
heard, he had some indie roots. He supposedly knew what he was doing, but again, you really never know what's happening behind closed doors. But I'd like to think that's more studio intervention, just fucking up. Because I mean, again, you look at anything. Just so many of the Fox Marvel films have been complete flops. And, of course they've had success with Deadpool, with Logan, but then they've also given us all of the Fantastic Four movies within the past 20 years. They've given us X-Men Origins, they've given us X-Men 3, they gave us X-Men Apocalypse, so...
Nothing wrong with Apocalypse.
What?
Nothing wrong with Apocalypse.
I mean, I don't hate Apocalypse, but I don't think it lived up to anyone's expectations, I just use that as an example.
Apocalypse could have been a little better.
It just had a potential, and they sort of blew it. And, again, Dark Phoenix just looks like a mistake. I'm calling it right now. It's not going to be that good.
Yeah, I feel like the whole ending was just to advertise the next movie rather than making it a good
basically.
ending.
Well, here's my problem with Dark Phoenix. First of all, I think Sophie Turner was a poor choice to play Jean Grey. Like, she just looks nothing like...
100%.
Beyond that, she's just... I don't know, maybe it's me as an American hearing her pseudo-American accent. It just doesn't sound like an American accent.
Yeah,
It sounds like a British girl trying to do an American accent and, failing miserably.
Well, you know what? She's a redhead, so let's at least be glad they didn't change her race into something else, because they tend to do that with redheads.
Yeah, that's true. I respect them at least not, what's the word? Ginger washing.
Well, it would be ginger washing. Would it be ginger washing?
I realize but for the sake of humor, I kept it as ginger
more like washing. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah,
anti-ginger.
Anti-gingering. Which we all know that Hollywood has a history of ginger washing.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, indeed.
I'm trying to think of an example. I know there's at least a few examples.
I'm curious about, though? Like, looking in at the MCU, right?
Sure.
You see the stories of all the superheroes and all the mutants and stuff. You never see the story of the average person and what they think of the superhero and or mutant.
Well, I mean, there's the X-Men movies. Like, you look at the first two X-Men movies. It was all about, it was all an allegory for, various civil rights movements. Obviously, the civil rights movement of the 1960s, Professor X and Magneto were basically stand-ins for MLK and Malcolm X, in the same way that Black Panther and Killmonger were in Black Panther. You could also see it as an allegory for LGBT rights, and there's a few obvious lines that Bryan Singer threw in there to give you that vibe. Like, have you tried not being a mutant?
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of gives you an outsider's perspective. These mutants didn't ask to be born mutant, but
that was also the 60s. A lot has changed to till current day.
X-Men and X-Men 2 were both in the early 2000s. That wasn't that long ago. And it took place in the early 2000s. So,
all right, yeah. I'm just stupid.
X-Men was made in the 60s, though, weren't they?
What?
Weren't X-Men, they first came out in the 60s, the comics.
Yeah, that's true. But again, I don't think they really had the same allegory back then. It's kind of obvious in retrospect, but again, I haven't really read a lot of early 60s X-Men comics, so I couldn't.
Well,
so you're telling me that the average person in at least the X-Men is just like kind of against mutants.
Think of how most Americans felt towards like LGBT relationships, LGBT people in the early 2000s. That's basically how the average person felt about mutants in the X-Men universe in the early 2000s.
Well, it's worse about mutants.
Yeah, a little
Like,
bit.
there's a senator who actively tries to come up with this chemical that will just neuter all of them from having their powers, but then you find out it's just to kill them.
Again, that's pretty close to like modern, or not modern, but some LGBT thoughts. There were historically, a lot of groups that tried to castrate these people, that tried to, basically make them uninterested in the same sex, make them straight. If that was possible. And
I see. I don't see why, because more gay guys.
Yeah.
There was literal castration. You look at what happened to what's his name, Alan Turing.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They literally made him take pills to make him not have a sex drive, and he ended up killing himself because he was so depressed.
Yeah. What was the movie they made about him? The
Enigma Machine.
No, that was the thing that he made, but that was not the movie called.
I thought that was what. Oh, Imitation Game.
The Imitation Game. That's what it is. Imitation Game. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that did really well there too.
Yeah. So.
So Doctor Strange. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
you know what I don't
that's
get?
a great example of just how horrible humans have been in the past. Like,
Yeah,
it's not even been a century, and we've just been so fucking terrible to people who aren't exactly like us.
People suck. People just suck in general.
We really do suck.
If you take one thing away today, it's that you suck. But you're great if you follow.
Just if you exist, you're a terrible person. That's just humanity for you.
You know what? If you don't share my opinion, you're a bigot and you just committed a hate crime.
Basically.
I was going to say, and I'll just preface this by saying it's a joke. Why do people have a problem with gay guys when that means less competition for us straight guys? Come on.
Yeah,
Leaves more room
that's
for
a good
us.
point. That's a good point.
Like,
Honestly,
when
I
the chick
always
says,
suspected that like the really hardcore conservative Republicans, the guys who really are against gay marriage for whatever reason, I've always suspected that they have like this gayness underneath, or they're terrified of becoming gay, and that's why they're so anti.
You know what I heard?
rights.
I mean, it was from Daniel Tosh. I don't know if you remember Daniel Tosh.
I remember Tosh.
So I was a huge fan of Tosh.0
does not surprise
in
me.
middle school. I was a huge fan.
Okay.
He did this
Everyone in middle
He did this
school is a
one
fan.
stand-up comedy show, and I watched it. And the one segment was, you never know if he's like actually gay or not. Like in Tosh.0. I mean, he might be bi. I don't know, but he's married now and has I think he has like a kid or something. I don't know. But he'd always like question his sexuality. And in the stand-up, that's what he was doing. And then he said this one line that was like a joke, but it also kind of was just like, hey, like, that's also true. It's like even if you legalize gay marriage and you believe that they're going to go to hell, like, why not just legalize it and make them happy now? Because God's not going to let them in anyway, Like,
no, that's a good argument too. Like, especially if you have that mindset, that's
yeah. So if you have that mindset, why don't you think like, hey, they're still not going to get in regardless of what you do? So I mean,
well, I gave you the same argument today. There were you wouldn't know this. There were there were pro-life protesters out on campus today. I call them anti-choice, because
Those guys again?
They are. They're not pro-life. They're anti-choice. Yeah. So
did you just assume their position?
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of what they are. Look, everyone.
You could say pro-choice is anti-life.
If you're
then.
human, look, I'm a fucking nihilist, and I consider myself to be pro-life. It means different things from what like the abortion movement says it means. Like, to be pro-humanity, to be a humanist, is to be different from being pro-life in that sense. But I used the same argument with you earlier. Like, if these people are so like, if they believe there's a heaven, if they believe that that's the ultimate end goal, right? Like, if you're a good person during life, or if you accept Jesus into your heart, or whatever your specific strain of Christianity tells you to believe, if that's your belief,
or any religion, really.
Yeah. Well, again, Christianity is specific, just because, like,
I know you're going with this.
There's very few arguments. There's very few religions that actually have that conception of heaven.
Are you going to say, why don't they just let the heathens be heathens?
I'm staggering. So if that's your worldview, right? Why wouldn't you want more fetuses to be aborted? Why wouldn't you want them to go back with God, go back to heaven,
And
I understand that you're a political science major, but it doesn't have to creep up on every conversation.
Well, I didn't even reference it. It just sort of came up,
No, you threw your opinion in there. You're like, Dad, he's pro-life. People, they're just anti-for-human or something.
Right. Okay.
Let's go back to superheroes.
Yeah, let's.
Editorial.
Let's get a little.
I was gonna say before you mentioned Deadpool, I saw something that said there was a new Deadpool 2 trailer where they show some kind of new group, some Backstreet Boy group or something like that. Like it's supposed to be X-Force, the prototype.
Huh.
I don't know. There was a new trailer. I didn't see it.
I mean, I haven't. I knew there was one a few weeks ago that sort of showed a few seconds of the X-Force that showed all the new cable footage. That did you see that one?
Yeah, that one.
Is that
No,
what
I never
you
saw
were
it.
talking about, or?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Hey, what do you want me to say?
Okay.
Basketball.
I
is
thought it
my
was new,
favorite
so I thought
sport.
if it was new, that we could just react to it or something.
Yeah. Didn't you have something about
Dribble
Green
up
Lantern?
and down the court.
Yeah, they're coming up or coming out later in the year with a new thing called Green Lantern Earth 1, which if you don't know, the Earth 1 series is like these revamped versions of Origins. So they had Superman Earth 1, Batman Earth 1, where the characters were a bit younger.
Well, I've read Batman.
So
Earth
this one,
Yeah.
yeah, this one is like that. And from what I understand, Hal Jordan is not a test pilot. He's actually a NASA employee
Okay.
working on the space station. And I think that's cooler than him just being a test pilot. So I'm glad there's going to be a new take on Hal Jordan because for modern times, I think he's fairly vanilla.
Okay, so I have two thoughts. First of all, you know, I'm a big Batman fan. By far my favorite comic book hero. I did read Batman Earth 1, which was written by Jeff Johns, who I think is one of the best comic book writers working today.
So great.
I mean, you've likely read some of his stuff. You know,
So great. You don't even know who he is. Come on.
he definitely doesn't know who
I
he
have
is.
no idea who he is.
He's written a lot of shit. Like
He's so great.
Yeah.
Trust
But,
me, I have all the sources. They told me how great he is, believe me.
But so here's my big problem with Earth 1. It didn't really do anything. It didn't really have any lasting consequences.
Nothing
It
at
was just-
all.
It was just a Batman story told from a slightly different origin. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's its own universe.
Right. Which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
It's
just,
not even in the DC universe.
well, it's
It's in the
its
DC
own thing. It's
multiverse.
a standalone Batman story, so it doesn't really. reference
No Superman, no Wonder Woman, no.
well, again,
Flash,
most like
Aquaman.
solo series comic books aren't going to reference other heroes. You know, it's usually.
about
it usually
Robin?
tries to- well, in this one there wasn't because you know it was his early adventures.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm that being said, I'm kind of pissed off that Jeff Johns isn't writing the Green Lantern one. You know.
Well, he can't write everything.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, he's busy with Doomsday Clock, but
Yeah. Which I haven't. Is there new issues of that?
I
haven't
think
kept
they
up.
came out with the fourth one. Like they usually do them at the end of the month. So I'm up to 3. So you know, I
Yeah.
have the last one. I'm really anxious to see where they go with the new one actually, because like at the time we're recording this, it probably just came out. Number 4. But so the third one, like, do you mind if I spoil it, or because I mean it's been out for a month, so I feel like you have.
No, I think I had watched the video about
Okay.
it. So
So
it's where Batman meets him, right?
Spoiler alert.
have you been following it at all? Or?
Was following what?
Okay, so you won't mind.
Did you see the movie Watchmen?
Yes, I saw the movie Watchmen.
No, Drew.
No.
Okay, well you got to watch that too. Well, you got to read the book, but because the book's
He just has no
I
idea.
heard Watchmen's pretty good though.
yeah, both the book and the
Okay,
movie
so that
are
was
really
pretty good, and now
Cool.
they're
I'll check
they're
it
gonna
out.
see the Justice League. They're gonna come together right now over us.
Over me. Doom, doom, doodly-dee.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Okay.
So fuck, what was I gonna say? So Doomsday Clock number 3. I don't think we brought anything up regarding Doomsday Clock since the second issue. So let me just go over this
Yes, since that segment with the very beautiful thumbnail that I made.
quick. So in the third one, Rorschach meets Batman. Like they meet
Yeah.
face to face. It's implied. I forget if they show it or not, but I'm pretty sure. You know, there's a meeting between Lex Luthor and Ozymandias too. But so unsurprisingly, Batman thinks Rorschach's completely insane, tricks him, and brings him into an insane asylum. So, and you see
What a
Rorschach's
dick.
real face. So,
Whoa.
yeah,
yeah,
surprise, he's black.
yeah.
It's not a surprise. We already knew
Well,
this.
at this point, like it was revealed in the first issue that this wasn't the Walter Kovacs Rorschach. It's
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, but a big revelation: comedian is alive.
yeah. Which again, like when you have a character in this continuity who is literally like basically the god of this universe. Of course, some shit like that's going to happen.
Yeah, well, as I understood it, what's his name? The the blue guy with his dick hanging out.
Yeah.
He teleported comedian to DC right before he hit the ground when he fell out of the building.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a bit revisionist, but it makes sense how he's alive now. Do you have any stories for us?
Do I have any stories for you? I just have like nothing crazy. I got sports stories I guess I could talk about, but you guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So
I kind of wish we had Jack back.
Something that personally you witnessed.
So Jack's play was this past week, and so he should be coming back pretty soon. The whole reason he wasn't tonight was because it was sort of a last minute thing that we tried to get him back on. But
she's still going crazy on the screen over there.
Monica, I love making her just insane. I just love seeing wacky characters. I made Eric weird, and last year when we did Gen Ed,
well, he's still weird.
He's still weird now, but when I first met him, he was just quiet. He wouldn't like say anything, and I was like, you know what? I just want to make him like really just fucking weird, just like so out of the blue, just so.
The Asian girl from Pitch Perfect.
So yeah, I mean that was what I was kind of thinking when I heard like some of the things that she was saying, like I hate my fetus in the womb or some weird shit like that, cracked me up, and I was like, I want to kind of base him off of something kind of like that. Sure. So and then everyone loved him. They wanted more of Eric and Michaela because Michaela was a great actress. Whatever.
We still haven't gotten her back.
No, sad face. Unfortunately.
Did she ever get back to you? Like,
she did. She was like she's literally so crazy with dance. Like she literally was just like her schedule was. But yeah, so I mean that's her true love. So I'm not gonna hinder her from doing that. But no, yeah. So they loved her because she was just some wacky character that would just play off of whatever happened, and she did a great job. And then Eric was just so scriptly, weirdly written, and everyone just loved those two. So I cut basically everyone else out.
I mean that's the whole reason we had them in there to begin with. They really were the only thing that made Gen Ed work,
Yeah, so I mean, I really didn't want to keep going with a continuous television series, but
you really can establish this ongoing comedy series
for 2. Yeah. So exactly. So it's hard to build character in 3 minutes.
Really, you have to sacrifice character development if you're going to be.
You gotta base it on like some like weird stereotypes and stuff.
Basically, we had an entire season that was shorter than a standard television pilot.
It really was. No, for real. We had 5 episodes each semester, each 3 minutes long. So
yeah,
15 minutes each. So a half an hour for the entirety. Like what the fuck? So that's why I really like the digital shorts. So we could just do one thing.
That's why the digital shorts really work. It's the fact that we have the freedom to do whatever we want in this 3 to 5 minute span. The fact that we really take that into account. The fact that we don't have to. We can basically use like really unique characters. We don't need to really develop anything. We can just sort of start from scratch and people know right away who these people are.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like you give them like a couple opening lines, and then they're just like, oh, they're this kind of person, and then they kind of
thing. When you set it up as being a sketch rather than an ongoing thing. People don't need to follow these characters. People don't need to know what they did in episode 1.
They don't need to have like an attachment or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that really gives us the freedom to do whatever the hell we want.
For real though.
And, I think the format works. I think it's a lot funnier than anything we ever did with Gen Ed.
Yeah.
I think for Gen Ed, Point of Eric was a highlight episode.
Obviously you and I are the big creative forces behind it, but I feel like just giving the writers or giving the entire group the opportunity to give their ideas, giving us
pitches and like here's my little 3 cents. I hope it works, and then we put them all together, and it's $1.
Right. Yeah, so. That's great. Like Steve. Yeah, we all improvised.
Steve
never would have happened if it wasn't for the fact that half the people we cast in it just dropped out.
Yeah.
It's still to this day my favorite digital short to date.
Steve.
So
and then my introduction, I improvised
Steve
the whole.
Hey, man, planned around St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
It's happening.
Stay tuned. Steve 2.
Steve 2, also known as the sequel to the fuck was it called? St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
The VP2
the Leprechaun
video.
one?
Oh yeah, we gotta republish that on our main channel.
Yeah.
But
coming this St. Patrick's Day. Film about a man Who's crazy? Or is he? Find out. In 3D and IMAX.
Oh, hey there. Now I sing my ABAs.
Someone to sing with me.
Yeah, maybe
stuff,
Mike
good
can
stuff.
Skype in after that comes out.
Yeah, well, we actually hung out with Mike last week for Eric's birthday, so it kind of does tell you how easy it is to get a hold of him.
Well, he only lives, like,
so the
30
Civ
minutes
2
away.
is probably going to happen.
Yes, no, it is going to happen. So after we get back from convention, we're going to finish the interview we're working on right now. We have this interview coming up between me and Eric. It's like
It'll probably be published like right after this episode of Utterly Nonsense.
Okay, so
let's say.
So just check to the right or to the left. I mean,
right,
whichever way.
Pretty soon.
So we'll finish that one, and then I'll start writing on Steve
Well,
too.
we already do have some solid ideas.
Yeah, we have some great ideas already. So
It's coming along. Of course, if it is anything like the first one, we're just going to scrap everything we got.
yeah, literally, that's literally what happened. Just like, oh well, fuck it, everyone left, so now we have this script that doesn't work. I guess we'll use some of it, but for the most part, we're just gonna dick around in the woods.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this one we didn't really have anything planned. This episode of Utterly Nonsense. So unless you guys have anything
talking
else.
about the actual shit, the shit we worked on is a lot more fun.
Right.
So that's definitely got to be in there.
Okay. So we good?
Okay. Yeah, okay, see you around.
All right, bye, John.
Okay.
I love you.
8-bit music. Play us out.
Going off on the rails of the crazy train.